right, you know. and, and the night before had been men and women at this bar. Tonight it's all men, okay, which is bad side, right? And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I've taken a lot of acid in my life. I'm just curious to know what colors were the lights from the stage, and what did the
I
mic?
don't remember.
What did the mic? Did the microphone feel weird?
I don't remember. Here, I'll tell you what I remember.
All right, yeah.
Okay, because there was a lot of shit going on, don't you say? Here comes a guy, and he sits down next to us. He's gotten in a fight on the way in the door. He gets in a fight. He's got a cut over his eye, and he's bleeding, rather profusely, I might add, or so it seemed to Bill and I. Okay, now seeing someone, bleeding from a cut over their eye while tripping on acid is not really something you want to see. And we're going, oh my God, this was a mistake. This is really bad. And Bill Silva goes up. I really should be the opener, but because I got attacked on stage last night, they decided that maybe I wasn't strong enough to open. So they put me in the middle. Silva has a better chance of surviving this than me. And so Bill goes up on stage. Bill Silva goes up stage. Bill and I sit next to the bleeding fighter, and everything's melting. And before Silva can say a word, a guy at the bar says, I sure hope you're funnier tonight than you were last night, because tonight I brought my gun. He pulls his gun back, and he's got a fucking gun. And Hicks and I are going, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And the waitress comes over, and Bill's got this right too. The waitress comes over, and she lifts up her... She goes, before she lifts it up, she goes, don't worry, boys, I've got my gun too. And she lifts up her blouse to show us a little, maybe like a .25 caliber stuck down in her waistband. So our waitress is armed. And when we survived all of that, and we got back to Houston, and Bill Hicks tells the story of what we had done, and what I had done, and taking the LSD and the people in the fights, and there's something else he's got right, but he doesn't really give it enough credit. We make our escape with our paychecks, and a mob follows us out into the alley where our cars are parked, Bill's car and my little Mazda truck, and I have locked my fucking keys in the truck. And so Silva is standing at the door talking the mob down while Bill and I are breaking out my window to get into my Mazda truck. And by the time that story got back to Houston, I went from the old white guy to one of the guys. And not coincidentally, I am sure, all of a sudden I started getting much better, because I realized that I could really just do me, and people would find me funny. And I went on to become, a pretty popular comic back in the day, in the 80s, and then going into the early 90s, I was going to be the next big thing. I mean, I was the last new comic on Carson. And USA Today, I'm on the front page of USA Today's Life section. It's called Carson's Comics, and when he announced his retirement, and I'm the last new one. And so they do this big feature, and again, there's my picture, and blah, blah, blah. And they went away, it didn't happen. And then I had a stage show in LA called The Storyteller, and then Ellen, who was the woman I was with then, was severely injured, and I left the business and was gone for 4 years taking care of her until she died.
You told me the story of how she was injured last night. Do you want to retell it or not?
No, not really. Not really. those that know about it know what I'm saying is, I'm so understating what this was. It was really bad. It was really bad. And when I came back, I was not in any shape mentally to go to TV, so I was away from the business end of it for like 7 years. And so the American public, at one time, they kind of knew who I was. I'd get stopped in airports and things like that. I was doing on TV a lot. But now I'm getting ready to do something different. But I live in Vegas. I work maybe 20 times a year out on the road, 5 or 6 weeks a year here in Vegas. The rest of the time I play poker. But I have a hardcore following out there. It's not big, but it's hardcore. They come back and see me over and over again, bring friends. So I work the same places. That's also why people don't know me. They only know me in certain places. You ask someone in Lexington, Kentucky or Indianapolis, they might say, oh yeah, sure, I've seen him a couple of times. I think we're the bluesmen of the world. We're the black bluesmen. Stand-up comedy is kind of the white man's blues.
I'm sorry, are you on the Chitlin circuit?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I work places in the South. I work 6 weeks a year in Houston and 3 weeks a year in the Dallas area and a couple weeks in San Antonio and Oklahoma City and Tulsa and Chattanooga and Louisville and Lexington and Sarasota and San Francisco and Sacramento and Reno. That's where I work. Plus here. That's the Chitlin circuit. It was basically same kind of circuit that the guys, Muddy Waters was playing and B.B. King was playing, because blues doesn't get a big crowd. Even at its height, it doesn't get big crowds. Just like comedy. Comedy clubs seat a couple hundred people. And it's a good night if you get all 200 seats, so it's a good night. Most of the time there's 150 people in there? Same amount of people in a blues club. Same amount. And they're the same kind of people. They really like the art form. So, but here in my latter years, I think I'm going to do something big to go out on. And I'm going to do it through the internet, some way or another. Because we can reach all the people now. I just don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out, or I'll find some bright young man that will figure it out for me. That's one of the secrets when I was in business. I didn't know shit. I just hired people who did and told them what I wanted to know. How does this work? How do we do this? How do we do that? And they'd tell me, and I'd gather everybody and tell them. Then we go do it. Learned that from Henry Ford.